I am from the Philippines. I was born and raised here. I grew up hearing about the things that go bump at night. There are many mythical creatures similar to other cultures, but some are only present in our mythology. The Manananggal, for example, is said to be a beautiful maiden at day, and turns into a half-bodied monster at night. I hear of stories about the Manananggal since the day I learned to understand our language. One story was told by my grandfather that still haunts me until this day. My grandfather was a fisherman in a small province of Camiguin located at Mindanao, Philippines. That was when the population was so small, the nearest neighbor was half a kilometer away. If you all know, the Philippines has many festivals celebrated almost every day in different parts of the country. That day the neighboring town was celebrating a fiesta, and they held a cockfight where two roosters armed with small sharp blades battled to death in the arena, and the people put their bets in one of the roosters. It is considered one of the favorite pastime activities of the Filipinos, and my grandfather was one fanatic of the game. Back then, there were only asphalt roads that leads to each cities and municipalities in the province, and it is mostly built on the seaside. The people who doesn't own a horse and a carriage often pass in the forest mountain where the distance is nearer than using the asphalt roads. My grandfather knows all the path that leads to every town in the province. It was his playground when he was still a child. It was already getting dark when he decided to go on his way home. He used a torch made by coconut leaves and entered the forest. The forest canopy made it darker, since the light from the setting sun was blocked by the towering trees. As he was at the middle of his journey, he heard something. It seems like someone was walking on the fallen leaves on the ground. He can hear each step, slowly pacing like an old person. He tried to locate where the sound was coming from, until he reached an unfamiliar part of the forest. Using his torch, he tried to illuminate the surrounding, and saw a silhouette of a hut. He called out for anyone who lived in that hut, but no one answered.
Hello.
He went closer to look
Anybody
if someone was actually living on that hut, but found no one, so he entered. Though someone seems to live in the hut by the fact that embers are still glowing from the kitchen. Then he heard the trashing of the leaves again, now closer, and it looks like it was coming at the back of the hut. He went outside to see who was walking, but didn't find anything. He waved his torch up to brighten the area at the edge of the light. Illuminated by torch were feet, barefooted. Its thighs were round and the skin was so smooth it glows as the light shines on it. He greeted, "Good evening," but the woman didn't respond, so he went closer.
Good evening.
As he got closer, he noticed that the woman was naked all the way down. He stepped closer to see the woman's face, but was shocked of what he saw. There was no upper body, and yet it's moving and standing upright. He can see the exposed organs and the still beating veins. He was so shocked of what he saw that he ran as fast as he can, without even knowing where he is going. He stumbled upon a clearing on the forest where there were no trees and only grass and short bushes are growing. Standing on that clearing, he can see the lights from the houses about 2 kilometers away. After catching some breath, he speed his way into the houses. He was shouting, "Manananggal!" as he was running, hoping someone would hear him and come to his aid. As he was getting near the houses, something swooped from above and tried to grab him. He looked up and saw the Manananggal soaring high, and from that height, dived down right at him. He ran to the forest seeking the cover of the forest canopy, but was caught up by the vines. He fell down to the ground at the exact time the Manananggal reached him and pummeled him more. With sharp claws, the Manananggal clawed its way into my grandfather's stomach, reached his heart, and pulled it out. My grandfather saw with his own eyes, his heart, still beating, and then all went dark. It has been more than 50 years since he died, but he still remembers it as if it happened yesterday. He keeps on telling me that same story over and over again at night, showing me his wounds and the big hole in his stomach where the Manananggal reached and took his heart.